Welcome to the Sonos Fury update training for the Field Day 2-bay style display. We will be going over the steps involved in this installation and the tips to make your install go smoothly. Remember, this is a two-person project, so don't complete it without your partner. Please note that some of the images shown here will not be that of the player-operated version of the display, but the process involved will be the same. You will see a note appear on the screen for these sections. The tools required for this project will be a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, a box knife, a number 25 Torx security bit, a small standard Allen set, and a cleaning cloth. The update kit for this project will be shipped directly to the store. You'll be looking for the box shown here, with the white Sonos and blue BDS label attached. Opening your kit, you will find the components required for your project. Please note that these kits are specific to your store and to the display type. Remove and examine all of the parts to be sure that there's no serious damage or missing items that might affect the installation. The full parts list required will be included with your paper instructions. Please note that the USB update stick for this project will be sent directly to the BDS rep. This USB update must be brought to the store for the project. It needs to be noted that you'll be sent one USB update kit for all touchscreen related updates, so you must bring this to the store with you. Let's get started by lowering all of the deck covers on this display. These are held in place by 3 thumb screws. Once the thumb screws are removed, you'll need to push in on the safety catch to allow the cover to open all the way. You will also need to remove the sub at this time to fully lower the far right section cover. This is held in place by a bracket on the back secured by 2 small Allen or Torx security screws. Pull out the sub and remove the connected power and Ethernet cables. Your next step will be to remove the beam player along with all the cables associated. We will now remove all of the brackets, panels, and wing nuts that secure the beam player and all other deck panels in place. These may be held in place by up to 12 wing nuts. Once you've removed all the securing screws and brackets, you can remove the beam player along with its cabling and set aside for reuse. Continue disassembling this section by removing the old acrylic cover and metal cover plate. We will now install our new panel covers and acrylic. When installing the black metal cover, the offset hole will go towards the back of the display. When installing your new white acrylic, the offset rear hole will be shifted to the right. This positioning will ensure correct orientation. Please note that there is a divider on the left-hand side of this new acrylic. Be sure it is positioned above each piece of acrylic to cover any gap. Be sure to line up your underlying brackets so that all of the small through holes align perfectly. Please note that the center holes in the bottom section shown here are not through holes. We can next assemble the previously removed beam speaker to the new kit included base. Connect all 3 required cables to the beam player. Feed the power, the network, and the HDMI cables up through the base and connect to the appropriate beam player ports. You can next install the beam player onto the base, feeding the excess cable down into the base as you go. Use the kit-provided wing nuts to secure the player to the base. Continue feeding the cables through the bottom cover and then attach the cover with the 4 Phillips screws. You can now mount this assembled beam player onto the back position on the acrylic panel of the deck. Be cautious not to scratch the new white acrylic with the studs on the bottom of the new plinth. Feed as much cable as you can through the acrylic down into the deck compartment. This base will also be attached with wing nuts on the bottom side to fully secure. We will next route and connect our beam cabling. These openings are shown here and allows the panels to shut without crimping the cables. We'll start with the HDMI cable. It will run from the Beam player and connect to the existing optical to HDMI adapter. That will in turn run to the three-way optical splitter output as shown in this schematic. The Ethernet cable will get connected from the Beam to the multi-ported switch in the bay area directly below the player. The power for the Beam, however, can be connected to the power strip under the Beam specific section. Now it's time to install our brand new player, the Fury. The Fury is the code name for the Ray player device. The Ray is the commercial product name. Be sure to use the cloth the player was shipped in whenever you might set it down to work with it. Anything that we can do to help prevent damage or scratching to this new player during install is the best practice. Also included in the box the Fury was sent in, you will find the power cable and the optical cable for the player. Be sure and do not inadvertently dispose of these cables. You're going to need them for the install. You can now plug in the power cable, the optical cable, and the kit included Ethernet cable into the back of the Fury player. Now feed these cables down into the display section as you place the Fury into its final resting installation location. Again, be careful not to scratch the acrylic with the studs of the installation bracket of the player. Once mounted and you have all of the cabling fed down into the display section, you will secure the Fury to the deck with 4 wing nuts. As with the other players, you'll plug the AC power into the power strip at the back of this section. The other 2 cables will connect to hardware within this bay as well. As you can see here in this schematic example, the optical cable will run directly from the Fury player to the middle bay and directly into the output port of the three-way optical splitter. The Ethernet cable will go to the multi-ported switch in the same neighboring section. With all players now installed and correctly wired, you can now perform the update on the AIO and HT sections. Plug the USB into the USB port of the touchscreen. In most cases, there will be a USB extender cable leading down from the tablet you can use this for. But if not, the USB will need to be connected directly into the tablet's USB port. The USB that was sent directly to our reps for this update has a locking mechanism that you can see here. Once fully extended, it will lock into position to allow you to insert it into the tablet or the cable as required. After you have plugged in the USB, in less than a minute the tablet will sense the connection and perform a reboot. The update process will now begin. It is suggested that you also at this time start a timer. This update should take no more than 20 minutes, and your timer will help you identify how long it's been. If the update is still processing longer than the 20 minutes on your timer, please call the BDS support team for your next steps. While the update's taking place, you can perform various other tasks, such as cleaning up the area, wiping down the display, and installing the new graphics that are going to be put in place on the top of the sections. Be efficient with your time, but also keep an eye on your display. During the update, the tablet will show several variations of screens. This update process can take between 5 and 20 minutes. Do not kill the power to the display and do not remove the USB during this normal update process. Doing so could potentially corrupt the content on the USB or the tablet that it's writing its information to. When all required updates have been made, you will see this message appear. Content update complete. Remove the drive and the system will reboot. At this point, you can now remove the USB from the tablet. The tablet will again automatically reboot a few more times, and after about 4 to 6 minutes, it will have started into its normal demo operational mode. The Bay 1 AIO section will require no further intervention other than the USB update. You will need to perform this same exact USB update on the HT section as well. You will follow the exact same steps previously discussed. However, for the HT section of the display, because we have added a new player, we will need to reconfigure the tablet's setup. You'll do so after the USB update has been completed. To do so, as the tablet boots up post-update, you'll wait for the configuration button to appear and select this option. This will then take you to the configuration screen. If the system moves past this configuration screen into the normal demo mode, fast tapping in the upper right-hand corner of the screen will bring you back to the configuration screen option. Here you will enter the standard password of I want to reconfig. Once you've typed in the password, select the configuration button. In the upper left of the next screen, select Reconfigure. This will take you to the configuration mapping page. For the options in this page, you will select English USA. Under the Fixtures column, you'll select HT for the option. You will then select the touchscreen option. And finally, for the Players column, you'll be selecting the Arc, Beam, Ray, and Sub option. If you're in a Best Buy location, your next option will be to tune speakers to a default volume setting. You'll do this by selecting the button in the lower right side. Then on the next page, in the presented list, find the Starting Volume field. Set this or confirm that it's set to a value of low. Please note that this value is a text entry rather than a selectable option. Lower or uppercase does not matter for the entry. Once you've confirmed or edited your settings in this page, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page. You can then select the Save Values button to lock in your changes. The screen will then do a complete reset. Once this is done, you will be able to again scroll down and select the Back to Configuration button to return to the main menu. Or you can select the Reboot option to restart the tablet direct to the demo mode. And that's it, you're all set. Once you've completed the configuration, select the Save and Reboot option. After a few minutes, the system should boot up again and start operation. On the HT section, again, because we have repositioned and added players, we will also need to adjust the visual player order on the tablet's display. To do this, you'll need to follow these steps. From the main demo screen, fast tap 7 to 10 times in the very upper right corner of the tablet's screen. From this next window, select the Configure Player Position option. At this point, you'll see a few screens. Do not hit any other buttons until the player positioning screen appears. Position the players in the screen from left to right as they appear physically on the section. To move these players, select the player with your finger and hold it until the player floats. Drag the selected player to its new position on the screen. Another note here is that you will hear the player that you have selected play a tone as it's being moved. Once you have all of your players positioned in the correct order for the particular bay you are working on, select the Sonos icon in the lower right of the screen to exit. You can then select the Back to Customer Mode option to resume the demo content. Your update is now complete. Thank you for watching the training and good luck with your visits in the field.